anybody here to say?
I mean, I can, or Sam
Okay.
can.
All right, I'd ask you just to limit.
Sam, you know a little bit more about them.
I'm gonna limit you to 2 minutes, state your name and for the record.
To the jury, my name is Sam Fulton. Allegiance Health Management, I work with Tim at Avoyelles Hospital, and just want to thank all y'all for all the hard work and working on this hospital assessment. We have all parishes that have passed the assessment, and so we hope y'all pass it in favor, so we have no problems. So just thank you. Any questions you have for me before or after, we'll talk more about it. Thank you very much.
Anybody else?
I'm good.
Okay. Anybody else in this case? Thank you, sir. All right, I think one of our jury, Mr. Thomas, has some questions for you guys.
I was asking questions of a friend of mine who read through this packet, this Friday. And one of the questions is that this program's supposed to be a broad-based program, which means it's a lot more than just the 2 hospitals involved. There are a list of 19 different entities in the law, and it's listed, they're listed here. And we can read off all 19 if you want to. But even dentists and eye doctors included, chiropractors. And y'all didn't include that in our ordinance, to include all these people. And I want to know what y'all know about it. The out for this, to be blunt, as they say, is that you can get a waiver from the federal government on the rest of these people and just keep the 2 hospitals. That has to come from the federal government, and it goes to the state. So the state has to request of you. Has any of that been done?
Not at the present time.
Well,
And also, I can tell you, because we've waited a little long, we're past the deadline. Of all the parishes, we're the last parish here to meet the deadline. So we were going to be working on 2 options. Hopefully, y'all will pass it. We'll ask for an exception. We don't know what's going to happen with the new bill that just got passed, so that puts them behind time. And you know that too, that we missed the deadline. So we don't know what's going to happen. This just gives us an opportunity to maintain the hospital. Hopefully in the future we'll maintain funds. I don't think those 19 entities are going to be involved that much with what we're trying to do. I don't think they would want to put up money to draw down money. That's not what I understand on those 19 individuals. But if they want to expand their business, we will be more than happy. The more people that are involved in the program, the better it's going to be for Avoyelles Parish. That's the best way I could put it for you. If they want to get involved or ask me questions, or they want to call Nick Gatchison, he was here to explain the program, he'll be more than happy.
We called Mr. Gatchinson several times. He's never returned a call.
Okay.
I've been trying to call him for 3 weeks.
I'll be glad to, if you'll give me that list.
I talked to you yesterday. You said you would get in touch with him.
Yeah, I did. I talked to him, and he wasn't aware of the 19 that we talked about, so I told him I'd get a list and send it to him.
Yeah, well, this is in the paperwork that Mrs. Fry gave us.
Okay.
One of the packets that she gave.
Okay. We'll get you across, send it to him. If there's
Well,
any
we
questions.
need to know where this is going, because all of these other people know nothing about this program.
I think it's just for
I
the-
have, and other people.
I think it's
called.
just for the hospital at the present time. I think it's just for the hospitals at the present time. All the
Well,
DAs.
what I'm saying is, if we have to do a broad-based program, which is what the federal government says we have to do, what have y'all done to contact all these other folks to see if they're interested?
In none of the parish have we contacted anyone else.
Well, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
if we have to do that, we're not gonna do that.
You're not gonna have to do that. We will take care of that. We'll work with every entity involved that's involved that you're saying, the 19 people.
Okay.
It's for the benefit of everybody.
And if anybody else didn't get this, I know
And any, oops, excuse me.
Jacob has a copy.
If any of the individuals on that list want to call me, you have my cell phone, give me their numbers, and I'll try to
Well,
answer their
that's the
questions.
question. They don't know anything about the program.
Okay.
So they don't even know to call.
Okay, they can call me, I'll have Nicole explain to them and everything, that won't be a problem. But like I said, the bill is passed, we've missed a deadline, so we're gonna have to work other options now. You know, we're gonna have to ask the exception if y'all pass it this evening, move from there, and so we just don't know what's gonna happen. to be honest
Okay,
with you.
and do y'all have any idea of the big, beautiful bill, how that's affecting it?
Don't have a clue just yet, we're just working all the fine tunings, no one does. If, I've got articles where they're showing 33 hospitals have potential of closing down in Louisiana, seven in the immediate future. So we're having to work through it all, so you know as much as we know right now until we get to the nuts and bolts, working with Mitch Gatchison and our DHH people. So that's where we stand.
Now, does DHH know at this point how anybody's gonna be affected?
They're working on different scenarios right now.
I'll say this too, you know, this has been a project of ours, we've been talking about it for some time now, we've presented it in other markets, hadn't had much trouble, stuff like that. We're the ones being proactive, investing all this money, putting all this stuff forth. I mean, we're the ones that are gonna be putting forth the tax to then the police jury and the sheriff, everybody gets a little piece of it to better the parish. And it's really not that complex, but we've invested a lot of money and a lot of time into this, and you know, we're here to present it to the police jury, and whatever, you know, comes of it, but it's kind of a shame living here in Avoyelles Parish and having to go through with what we're having to go through to get something, you know, to pass to better the parish, and it's kind of, to be honest with you, a bit frustrating in a sense, but we'll just leave it at that, and whatever y'all decide, if y'all have any questions or whatever, we're here to answer it, and we can go from there.
We're trying to get funding to help everybody.
Yeah, it's just, I
understand
know.
that.
We understand your
wanna-
frustration. I
Yeah.
mean, you try to pass any tax in this parish.
Yeah.
We've been dealt with that.
Yeah, but
You
we're the
don't wanna
ones,
pass
we're taxing ourselves
Correct.
to then be able to put forth the money for y'all to be able to draw and the sheriff to be able to draw. So nobody's we're the ones that are coming forth saying, hey, y'all tax us, we're gonna give everybody a piece of it, and it betters the hospital, it betters everything, right? There's no really downside to it. And like I said, we've had Nick Gotchison come in, I've had attorneys come in to explain it on multiple occasions, we've done homework, it's just, we've exhausted all options, and it's kind of one of those things to where, you know, we went to different parishes and it hasn't been as complex as what it is here, just to be, you know, quite honest. So we're just kind of to a point to where we're presenting it to y'all, you know, it's going to be what it's going to be, and you know, hopefully, you know, we can pass it and everybody benefits from it, and if not, then you know, it is what it is. So.
Charles,
Yes.
what do you think,
It's not a risk to the police jury, because it would be canceled if y'all ever had to pay anything. And I did research some of the big, I'm not gonna call it the big beautiful bill, because I think a lot of it's ugly.
No,
But part of it is gonna hurt rural hospitals. It's one way they put back in the bill where it can help rural hospitals, and this is one of the ways they can. The first version that was passed, they were gonna eliminate it completely, where the tax would be collected and help rural hospitals. The way it is now, they will be able to continue this and help keep rural hospitals open. And if you don't think that Marksville is a rural hospital, believe me, it is, okay, compared to all the others. So I think it helps the parish.
Okay. Anybody else? All right, Frank?
Avoyelles Hospital, the mental hospital, we go on and on, right at one of the largest employers in Avoyelles Parish. And Ms. Allen, I've heard your concerns, and, you know, the Avoyelles Hospital and their lawyers and people have done their own research and development, and they have come up with this and they're recoup some money, giving us some tax dollars in Avoyelles Parish. As far as 19, 10, 7, or 100 other entities that are there, I suggested they go and do the same thing that these people have done here and do their own research. And you know what? Hopefully the police jury can say yes to it, because I'm a vote yes for it, and I'm supporting one of the biggest employers that are here. Just my opinion of that. They did their work. They've explained it, and nobody's ever not, came when we've asked for something. I don't know how many committee meetings we've had. So I just want to say that. Not many times we have somebody asking us to tax them, and then we get part of those earnings. It helps the hospital, and especially being rural. So just in my opinion.
Well, I appreciate that. Like you kind of touched on, Travis, it's been, a mission of ours, a mission of Rock's to invest back in this community. I mean, look, we're doing a $30 million renovation right here in Marksville at our local hospital. And, we worked with the school board to take over the old detention center and do a $3 million renovation over there to better the parish, add more jobs to the parish, going around and opening 7 clinics in all these rural areas that do not have clinics. So, I mean, we're committed, and for us to come forth and say, hey, this is a tax, y'all tax us, we all benefit from it. I mean, it's just, there's no true downside to it. So those folks that you had mentioned, if they want to invest money and have, legal counsel come forth and represent them, by all means, they have every right that we do. But we're just to a point now to where we've kind of explained it enough. We've invested a lot of money into doing this and getting Nick down here.
That's not what the law says.
Yeah.
The law says the program has to be broad-based unless we get a waiver from the federal government.
Okay.
But the two hospitals
Okay,
are broad-based,
I'm
they'll cover
just-
it.
Well,
This is here, this is federal
okay.
regulation.
All right.
Yeah.
And
That was passed in 1991, it's not like it was yesterday.
if that's required, then they will have to do it.
Yeah.
Okay? It's not a
We
risk.
just
to the
want to
police,
answer the
right.
question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else? Hearing none, we'll go call it.
Mr. Wiley, I just want to thank you for all the time you spent helping working with us and your secretary, Jamie. Thank y'all for that.
Thank y'all for coming.
We appreciate the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, no, thank you all.
We understand the time, and we spend a little time
Yeah.
just making sure
And
that
once we
we're
pass it,
clear.
if you have any more
Yes,
questions,
sir.
feel free to call me or Nicole, and we'll try to get whatever we can to help you out.
Right. Okay. Now to end the public hearing, we have 3 minutes before we start. Anybody wishing to speak on anything on the agenda, you can fill out a card. police jury to order. Today's date is Tuesday, July the 8th, 2025. It's 5 p.m. Please stand for the invocation, followed by the pledge led by Mr. Wilson. Please bow your head. Lord, we come before you today with humble hearts, grateful for our many blessings. We ask for your guidance as we make decisions on behalf of the good people of Avoyelles Parish, and that we keep their best interests in mind. Lord, we pray for the people of Texas affected by the floods. May you bring comfort to the grieving, shelter to the displaced, and strength to all those that are helping. All these things we ask in your name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Darrell Wiley.
Here.
Mark Oriel. Travis Franks. Sean Wilson. Sam Pierce. Clyde Benson. Alan Thomas. McKinley Keller. Jacob Coco. Here.
Okay. Number 5 on the agenda, I accept a motion to adopt the minutes of the regular meeting held on June 10th, 2025. As printed in the weekly news and emailed and mailed to all jurors. Motion by Mr. Burrell, second by Mr. Thomas. Question or comments from the jurors? Question or comments from the audience? Hearing none, all in favor of that motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 6, Mr. Thomas.
Adopt the minutes of the Tourist Commission meeting held on June 30th, 2025.
All right, motion's been made. I get a second. Second by Mr. Wilson. Questions, comments from jurors? Questions, comments from the audience? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. Next up, we have the district attorney talk to us about the home rule charter election and Marksville City Court clarification.
There's two different things, okay? Let's talk about the election. I'm giving an opinion that you can have the election scheduled in the spring. If anybody disagrees with me, that's your right, and I'll be responsible for my opinion.
So,
You can have it in the spring.
you can't guarantee us that it will not be a lawsuit.
I'm telling you that I'll be responsible.
Okay. No, but I'm just asking.
I'm telling you that it's my opinion you can have the election in the spring.
Okay. Anybody else want to question or comment that?
Charlie, I'm sorry, you said they can in the spring.
Can,
correct?
yes.
Yeah,
Jane,
okay.
Jane,
They
Thank
can
you.
choose, they can choose this fall or the spring.
we got a Louisiana Attorney General in our package.
Do we have Attorney General
From,
opinion?
when I think the
Yeah.
Honorable Sam Jones, Mayor,
That was from,
And just remember, my opinion is not law, and neither is the Attorney General, so take your pick. I'm giving you the opinion, the official opinion for the police jury is you can have it in the spring if you want to.
Okay.
If you want it in writing, I'll be happy to put it in writing.
I don't need it right now, I'm just. Okay, Mr. Calgary, you want to say something?
You
Pertaining
gonna
to
disagree with me?
Yes. Well, I saw this is number 7 on the agenda and number 30, so, I mean, I guess I could talk on both
Yeah,
of
you
those.
can.
But, so I'm here tonight as the chairman of the Home Rule Charter Commission, and I reached out to the 11 members of the commission about this issue, and it was never if we had been able to anticipate this, we would have asked to save the parish money any way we could. So 10 of the 11 members are in favor of having the election in April, where it doesn't cost the parish the $66,000, instead it costs, I think, $4,700 is what they said. So just here to relay that's the view of the commission.
Okay, my concern as this president's for the record, what we did was correct. You presented the charter to us. We
Yes.
said we followed the law to that accordance. Am I correct on that?
Yes.
By setting the first possible date.
And if we had known that this was a possibility, we would have changed that, but there was
I
no way. for
understand that.
the commission to know.
Some of us feel the
You have
same way.
You have met your obligation.
Okay, I want that on the record, that we did do what we were supposed to do. Okay? All right? Thank you, sir. Anybody else on the home rule charter? Anybody else?
Let someone sue us for trying to save the parish $60,000.
Okay.
Which is a
Blessing,
huge-
we move forward.
A huge part of why my opinion is what it is.
All right, the Marshville City Court clarification.
I need a question. I mean, what,
Well, I've been attending the town council meetings when the town council was in the old city hall. And, you know,
all right?
longer than I've been a police jury. The city court, you know, ran where the town would get money. The city judge would give, well, you know,
Yeah.
you went through the,
And I'm assuming you're talking about tickets and
well,
prosecutions.
I mean, you know, we were paying a portion
Right.
to Bonke and Morrisville.
I think the
court.
Marksville portion was about 22,000 a year. Yeah. Then,
Probably less than that,
no, I think it was 22, but regardless.
but I hear it.
What happened, I mean, the history of it is with Dr. Michelle and Johnny on the board, and then
Judge
Dr.
Bennett, the one
Michelle
that-
again, there was
Clyde
enough
Bennett.
money. And as long as Angela, the judge, Judge Piazza was the judge, the city was actually receiving money each month. There was a dispute, now I'm not gonna get into the details of the dispute, but a lawsuit ended up being filed. I recommended to the police jury at that time that y'all pay your 1/2. And that, because the statute says you have to pay 1/2 if the city requests it. But it also says that if that's the case, then the fines come to the police jury, not to the city. And that's what's making some of them upset.
Yep.
You know, with all kinds of accusations, you know, I represent the city too. Yeah, I represent the city. No, excuse me, I don't represent the city. Actually, Jonathan does. But I represent the parish of Avoyelles, and
He can tell you
I
what-
am the appointed
said.
attorney for the police jury. And I said, as long as y'all are having to pay 1/2 of the expenses, you're gonna get the money. We're gonna prosecute them as state offenses, which means the police jury gets the money. I'll talk to the mayor and councilman to try to explain to them. We'd be happy to go back to the 22,000 and give them 100% of the fine. But they've chosen not to up to this day. And unless you have other questions, I don't know what else to say.
Well, the month of June, we're gonna get $6,618, and the city will get $830. When it's brought up tomorrow night,
They chose to go by the
Like our fault.
statute. So, well, they brought up the statute, we're going by the statute.
Didn't the judge decide this 10, 15 years ago?
Because it's,
No, the judge who just, in federal, I think it was in federal court, ended up deciding that it was correct, the city pays 1/2, police jury pays 1/2, but it's also correct that we get the funds, because we can choose to do that by prosecuting under state statute.
But a judge decided
Yeah.
that. I mean, in the
I mean, he didn't force it.
Yeah.
I mean, yo,
The judge didn't decide.
He didn't
The city
decide.
The city set for it to be this way, because they were on the losing end.
Oh, yeah.
They were on the losing end.
And paid
they said,
$70,000 in attorney's fees.
$70,000.
they wanted us to go in and
Yeah.
we decided not
as
to.
long as they, and I've told them this, as long as they are requiring the police jury to pay 1/2 instead of the 22,000 or whatever the figure was, we're gonna collect it as a state statute.
But really, the city was making money at that time.
Yeah, I know.
That's right.
There's a long story
Didn't have to
behind
pay
what
that.
ended up happening, but you know what those reasons were.
All right, we done?
I'm done.
All right, good.
You'll have John for the rest of it.
All right, thank you. All right, number 8, we have Representative Darrell Distel to give us the legislative update.
Can't wait to hear it.
All right, good afternoon. Thank y'all. I think I will give you the opportunity to just give you a little update on some things that happened in session this year. As you know, this year was a fiscal session, which means we were supposed to bring up mostly fiscal matters of the state. Well, it turned out to be predominantly an insurance session, which was pretty unusual. We had over 1,000 bills filed this year that we had to go through. So it was a lot of work. We had a lot of things going on. Some good news came out of it for Avoyelles Parish. We were on the winning end of a lot of different things. Avoyelles, I was able to secure about $13 million of money for Avoyelles this year. $11,500,000 in roads. The biggest road is 107, which is from Mark Street to the Red River Bridge. That's about $8.5 million. They're going to redo that road. As you know, that road's in pretty rough shape. It's I worked with DOT to kind of decide the roads, and that was one of the worst state roads in the parish, or it is the worst at this point. 115 was the worst. We just fixed that. Then 107. The next on the list is Highway 1, which is what I'm going to work on next year. Going out towards Simpsonville. So that's an awesome amount of money we were able to get for the parish and fix a heavily traveled road. And then in parish roads, we've got about $2.6 million of parish road money, which $1.5 million of it is what we call capital. Well, it is capital outlay, parish-wide road improvements. That's what you guys are going to decide how that money is done. And then I was able to secure some cash, which is, that's not something we get every year. It's not something that's evenly distributed. It kind of just depends on politics and a lot of factors that happen in Baton Rouge. But I was definitely fortunate to be able to get some of that dollars, which is cash. When I say cash, there's no match. The police jury is not responsible for any match. It's just straight cash to the police jury for specific roads. So the Business Loop Road, which is in 5th Ward, we got $336,000 for. Riche Road, which is in District 8, $622,000. We got some road drainage improvements for Beauregard Lemoyne Road for $218,000. And then we got some roads, Smith Road, Josephine Road, Grimion Road, and Amos Street for another $238,000. So that's kind of sums up the road projects. Then other projects, we got about $1.6 million for the Port Commission. Got $750 for a new fertilizer tank expansion, and I'll explain a little bit about that in a minute when I talk about a bill that I ran. And then the Evergreen Water System, $70,000. Village of Mooresville sidewalk, $78,000. Village of Plocherville, new fire station, $500,000. Bartleville Fire Department, $225,000. So that's kind of the dollars, which is all the good stuff, right? It's good things that's happened to the parish. We're fortunate. The state has been in a kind of a surplus over the last few years, and we were able to get some of those surplus dollars back to our parish. Few bills that I personally ran this year, and this is not in the order of importance, it's just in the order in which I filed them. One of them is a window tint bill, which I didn't think was going to be a big deal, and it ended up becoming a pretty big deal. I actually decreased the amount of the light that can come through the side glasses of your vehicle from 40 to 25. Which pretty much matches all of our southern states. So it matches Mississippi, Florida, Alabama. I mean, most of everybody around us, we were a real outlier. And it kind of came to my attention with two different things. One, I had some constituents who owned used car lots. They would buy vehicles, let's just say they came from Texas. Vehicles come, and then they sell them, and then they can't get them inspected because of the tint, and it was kind of a big deal. So we tried just to really, especially our states around us, I mean, if we want to transfer vehicles back and forth, all those laws, I think, should be pretty close. So that was one of the bills that passed. Overwhelmingly, it's amazing, not one no vote all the way through the process. It was also the Sheriff's Association took a no stance on it, so it wasn't, law enforcement didn't consider it a hindrance. Probably the biggest bills, or the biggest bills I ran were HB 365 and 366, which is an inventory tax bill, which we talked about this last year on the what we called the Amendment 2 that failed the voters, actually here in Avoyelles and in most of the state. I took out the inventory tax piece out of the bill and ran a bill strictly for that, which will give you the option to opt out of inventory tax if you choose to do so in exchange for some state funds. And then it'll also give you, if you decide not to opt out, you can also reduce the what they call fair market value. Business inventory is currently taxed, or is valued at actual value of 15% of its actual value. So it goes on the roll as 15% of the actual value of the inventory. Well, some parishes have a tremendous amount of this inventory tax, and they want to actually lower it, the percentage, to give the businesses a little bit more of a break. So you'll have the option. First, it has to pass. It's a constitutional amendment that you'll be voting on, and it's got to pass. People have to vote on it first. Then you'll have to vote on it along with the police, the sheriff, and the school board. So, Secretary of State bill. Ran a bill for the Secretary of State to be able to purchase new voting machines, which is that's a hot topic that we've been dealing with in the legislature since I've been there. Very controversial. We have a group of people that want to go to paper ballots, all hand-counted paper ballots, and they got another group of people that want digital, and when you talk about voting, it becomes very, very intense. But I was able to pass that bill, which gives them a new procurement method. This was a pretty important resolution to me, which is for LDH to study the effect of chlorine levels in our public water systems. I don't know how many of you are familiar with this issue that we have, especially in Avoyelles. We have a lot of manganese in our water systems, just something that happens here in Avoyelles. And when you introduce high levels of chlorine to it, the manganese actually falls out of the water and turns brown. So whenever you turn on the water and get this brown water, it's really manganese. Long story how we got here, but I don't remember the years, 25 years ago or 20 years ago, they had a case of a brain eating an amoeba. I don't know if you remember that. I think we had two kids die in the state. But those water systems that that came out of were surface water systems, like Toledo Bend or one of these lakes. So the state came in and did an emergency rule, made everybody increase their chlorine level by a lot. Okay, from 0.2 to 0.5, I think is the numbers. Which sounded great at the time, but they didn't foresee all of the issues that we're having with our water systems, especially like here in Avoyelles. So that's something I did to address that. Hopefully we get a resolution from it. I had another resolution, which this came from one of my constituents asking the LHSAA to refrain from having high school competition athletics during Easter weekend, Good Friday and Saturday and Sunday, obviously, which, believe it or not, they pushed back on a little bit. But then after it passed the House and the Senate, unanimous, they issued a letter saying that they were going to take our advice and they're not going to have any more playoff games.
How does that affect the sports season? That's probably the problem.
Well, they're going to have to change it. So
Move it up a week or something.
you just won't be able to play on Good Friday or Saturday and Sunday. And then I ran another bill, which is a very important bill. It's I think one of the more important bills. What I did was we created what we're gonna call a site investment and infrastructure fund. And we're gonna fund that fund. The state's gonna put some money in the fund to allow LED to go around the state and get sites ready for customers. And when I say customers, for a tenant. And I'll give you an example. Let's just say you were fortunate enough to have 1,000 acres of property on the Red River, but you didn't have any infrastructure. You didn't have any boat dock, you didn't have any train, you didn't have any rail spur, you didn't have a good road going there. You could, if LED decided that was one of the sites that they chose, they could spend money investing in that site prior to having a tenant, spend state dollars to be able to attract a tenant, which I think is very big. The states around us that are succeeding have been doing this to the tune of $150 and $200 million a year, which is how they get in these. They got the Toyota plant, they got Alabama did it, got 3 different car manufacturers by doing this. They got South Carolina's been doing it, other states have been doing it. Louisiana was investing a whopping $6 million a year, and they're investing 200 plus million. So you can see how that's just how we're getting beat. So this is something to help the state to be able to get back on a level playing field with our competitors and invest in properties. Currently, LED has no mega sites left. When I say mega sites, they just basically signed that deal with Meta in North Louisiana, which they call it a mega site, which is a big piece of property. Well, just so happened Avoyelles actually has what I'm gonna call a mega site. So I'm not saying we're gonna get anything, but I'm gonna tell you that I'm working really hard to try to work with LED to become one of their premium locations.
Would the port qualify?
What's that?
Would the port qualify?
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's exactly right. And I have a ton of other information. I know you got a very lengthy agenda. I'll tell you, the governor did sign a package of insurance reform bills that I think are going to help move the needle on our insurance. I mean, that's probably one of the biggest complaints that I get from my office is roads and insurance. That's like what everybody talks about. I voted for every single insurance bill that made any kind of sense. So hopefully those do help. I'm not the attorney in the bunch, but I do a lot of listening and make sure that I try to represent Avoyelles and our constituents when it came to voting on the insurance bills. So I know how much it affects every single person here. But, thank y'all for the air conditions in the office. It sure is nice that we can go in there and not sweat and be able to talk on the phone. Yes, sir.
When Hessen was having so much trouble with the water lines, you told, I think the last time you came, about the ground penetrating tube.
Yes, sir. So, yes, sir, they, I want to say they ordered, I don't think they got it in yet, but I know I told them again, they need to order. The money's sitting in the bank. All they got to do is.
And you said that all the towns can use it.
Absolutely. That was part of the deal. It was a last minute deal. I was in session, and when you're working around the table and you find a few dollars here or there left, I was able to grab those few dollars, and I was trying to figure out what we were going to do. And I made a call to the mayor. I said, I can get you a ground penetrating radar. However, it's got to be for the parish, and I need to make sure that the parish is able, all the water systems are being able to use it. And he was like, absolutely. So you got my commitment on that. I'm sure it's recorded. So if there's any.
Talking to them the other day, they still.
Yeah, I brought it up to him again because we had an issue in Simsport here recently, and the contractor was actually trying to use it. And I called the mayor. I said, Mayor, we need to use your GPR, and he said, crickets. So we revisited and we got the ball rolling again, and hopefully we get that soon, because we have those situations. You know, Simsport was out $10,000 in damages. People are out of water. I did write a letter to the governor requesting assistance, emergency assistance for the town of Simsport to help cover the expenses of their of those damages. Hadn't got a response yet, but I'm hoping that that the state will be able to kick in a few dollars to help Simsport because they're in pretty dire straits financially with what's going on. So,
One question.
yes, sir.
When you first started, you did the road work for 115.
Yes, sir.
Come all the way to Mark Street. Is it Mark Street and Desmond, or you talking about the Mark Street and Markfield?
No, so the 115 road work was from 1188 to 114, which was, I don't know what happened, but that section of 115 wasn't done when the section going to Bunkie and then the section going to Marksville was done. Don't ask me why, but it was left out, which was made a really bad part of 115. So we did that one. But from Mark Street here in Marksville to, that's 107 to the bridge will be redone. So hopefully we can get that. No, we got the money. It's in the budget. And then next year, so far, you know, unless something else happens, I'm going to really work hard for Highway 1. Try to get some of that done. I don't know if I'll be able to get it from Simsport to Marksville, but that's a long way. But we'll try to get some of it done. So that's kind of the plan.
Who decides who gets the reclaimed materials?
You know, I don't know the answer to that, and that's, I've had that question posed to me a few times.
Red knows about
But
that.
Red, maybe we could
He
answer
told us that in the committee meeting, remember?
Yeah.
He talked about
No,
50.
but it seemed like, you know, like 107, if you get, there's gonna be a lot.
I'm sure they're gonna put a lot of it back into the road.
It depends if it's in a municipality, the municipality gets like 10%. And then if it's outside municipality, the parish will get 10% of the whole project that's outside the parish. So they actually divide up that road into, if it's in Marksville, out of Marksville. If it's outside of Marksville, the police jury would get it. I think their policy right now is 10% for the locals, 50% for the contractor. A minimum of 10% for the locals, 50% for the contractor, and DOT keeps the rest.
There's something new every day. See that? Glad you did answer that.
They got mountains of it, different places, you know.
Matter of fact, some other
And we
bridge
get-
on the right
and
side.
we get ours.
Yeah, big one.
From each job. We get hours from each job.
Awesome. Any other questions, concerns, complaints? Yes, sir.
Thank you for all you do. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You've been here for, what, 6 years now? And the amount of money you've got for the parish is outstanding. We needed that change. There wasn't much before, but thank you for taking the job and all the money that you get for us. We appreciate it.
So,
I just
brings
want
up
to say one thing to thank this guy. The last day to file a bill, I called him and said, hey, we need to file this bill. They're doing it in Tennessee and Texas. We got on it. He didn't care that I was relieved with. He just knew I was caring about rural hospitals. He got the bill passed unanimously on the Senate and the House side. Y'all got a great representative here, a hard-working guy. Most of all, he is very well respected by the Senate and by the House. If he asks for something, they're going to listen to him. So congratulations and thanks for all your hard work.
thank you. One last thing I forgot to mention is the facility over at the Bay Hills. We were awarded the money for the sports complex, which is still in engineering, but it should come out pretty soon. And then the money for the new Cowborn and redo the cafeteria and the administrative, basically building. Those bids are out. The proposals were received, and that construction is going to be able to start pretty soon because we got a really tight deadline.
Here. You want to talk, go ahead, Jamal. Jamal didn't want to use it again, so that kind of.
So, I mean, we played there, me and Darryl had some side conversations, but we've played flag football. We got an NFL flag football league there, about 350, 400 kids in the parish, and we've played there the last 3-4 years. We've been playing there. And I was here today to see if we would have that opportunity to be able to do that again. I came last year and we did it. Hearing them say they're getting ready to break ground, I don't know if they have a hard date on that. So I just wanted to come here to give an opportunity so I can figure out where these kids will get the opportunity to play.
Basically, it could be any day, right?
I can go back and try to get a better timeline. You know, I personally, you know, look, I love seeing those kids out there. That's what I'm trying to do.
Right.
So you know, as far as me, as long as it's not interfering with our construction, you know, we're fine. There is the other side, which the parish does not lease, but is owned by OJJ, where they play the soccer.
Correct.
I can go back to the state. I have a meeting with them about something else. I can go back to the state and talk to them about, you know, if we start construction, maybe you could go on that side. If that's something you.
No, that's perfectly fine.
And also to another option, the port and tennis court has a football field there, and they might use it in Mowick or irrigation, Beaver Field, they might use it. That's an option also.
You mentioned that earlier. I don't know where that is. Bay Hill's one, of course, because it's a little bit more centrally located to the number of kids that we have. But
Why don't, I don't think anybody here would have an objection either, but why don't you correspond with the representative and y'all come up with something and get back with me and I'll spread the word and we'll handle it. When do you have to know something? When you want to?
we don't start officially playing until we play a 2-month window. We play from August 12th to October 12th.
So you got
it's exactly 2 months. So we got about another month before we get ready to start playing.
If you don't mind, y'all talking and let me know something, that way go from there. Okay?
Love to work around it, and if we can get it both done, that would be.
And if the soccer side works, that totally works. We just need flat grass.
Okay.
Paint the lines and play the ball.
All right, well, we took care of that then. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you
Any
again
other
for what you do
questions?
for us.
Thank y'all.
Appreciate you. All right, number 9, you have Mr. Doug Burke from Code and Slave and Audit. Report.
All right, my name is Doug Burke. I'm with Colder Slavin, the auditors for the police. I put 2 bond reports in your city space, but really tonight I want to focus on the executive summary document. It's just stapled at the top here. You should have one of those in your stack of papers. I know y'all got a lot of stuff in there. What this is, the audit report's about 100 pages long, so we don't want to flip through that tonight. But this is going to give you an overview of all the results. The audit covers the year of January 1st through December 31st of 2024. So it's your most recent fiscal year. And when you turn to page 1 in the executive summary document, there's really 3 key areas I want to kind of go over to you. I just want to talk to you about the results. What we're reporting in the report, what we found as your auditors. If you start at the very top, Roman numeral number 1, it's entitled Independent Auditors Report. That's on pages 1 through 4 in the thick document. Now, that's the meat of the report as far as the clients are concerned. It really boils down all our responsibilities as your auditors, your responsibilities as the management of the police jury. And of course, tonight I'm talking to the police jury members who set all the rules, the ordinances, and the actions, and then turn it over to management to execute what you want done. So I've already had a meeting with the president, with Mr. Darrell, and the other finance committee members and Ms. Jamie. And so they're aware of what's in here. Now it's your turn to get the results. So right off the top, the independent auditors report is going to be unmodified this year. What that means is that when we did our procedures, did all our testing, reviewed the financial statements and all the processes, we feel comfortable that this set of financial statements are properly presented and are put together in accordance with all the rules, regulations that you need to follow. When the state gets this report, or when your bondholders get it, they'll have assurance that they can rely on what's in the report, the financial statements, the disclosures, everything that's in there has been properly put together. The second part that we do as your auditors, because you receive so much federal funding, you're subject to what's called a single audit. This is the federal government's rules and regulations and requirements. And what we do as auditors, we come in, we assess all your federal funding, everything that you get from the feds, and then we make an assessment as to what is considered your major programs, which is based on dollars that you spend. This year, when we made that assessment, we were finishing up the American Rescue Plan Act, the ARPA money that you've been dealing with for the last 3 years. But you also had your Section 8 program that rose to be a major program this year. So we were required to do testing of those programs. And again, the report, and this report's on page 77 of the document, we're required to issue an opinion. And that opinion doesn't talk about the financial statements, it talks about how did you do with the rules and regulations of the federal funding. Unfortunately, this year, we're gonna have to issue a qualified opinion. And what that means is that we couldn't get to a place where we felt comfortable that all the rules and regulations and the controls that were in place were operating effectively, that we could say, yes, the police jury complied with all the agreements. Now, you had two programs this year. You had the ARPA, which was the bigger one, and then you had your Section 8 program, which you've had for years. It was, the ARPA program came out clean. We didn't have any issues when we did our testing. We did find issues with the Section 8 program. That program, you know, if you go back a few years before ARPA came on the side, that was your major program every year. And we basically tested that program year in and year out. When ARPA arrived, that program kind of fell to the wayside for a couple of years. Under the federal regulations, you're required to look at a major program every 2 years. And so when we came back in 2024, which is what this covers, and we did our testing, we found some issues. The biggest issues are in your internal controls, which is the processes that make sure that you're adhering by HUD rules and regulations. We do testing. We don't look at every transaction, but we did some testing, and we're going to be reporting 6 what's called internal control findings based on that testing. And under the Single Audit Act, if you have an issue with your internal controls, that is a compliance issue, because you can't get an assurance. If the controls aren't working, we can't issue an opinion and say, a clean opinion and say that you did perfect on your compliance side. So in this report, you're going to see that we listed out all of the findings for you. It kind of goes a range of findings. We tested about 40 tenant files, and we did extensive testing based on the HUD regulations. And you can see the results in your packet that kind of speaks to all the different things that we found. The only thing I can leave with you on that issue is that you know, you did have some issues in the Section 8 housing office over this 2-year period. You did have some turnover. It's a small office. You just have a director and I think a housing inspector, and that's it. So when those things started to happen, it seems like some of the controls kind of went south and resulted in this. It's nothing that can't be fixed. It's nothing that can't be resolved, and it's on its way to being resolved. I've spoken with the new housing director. She's contacted me several times, and we've given her all the information and support we can. But I cautioned, when we had the meeting with the committee, I cautioned them that she's valid, trying very hard, but she's one person, and she will need some assistance to keep the program going as well as resolve these issues. But again,
most of that happened with the other.
Well, the time period we tested was 2024. The new director didn't come till, I think, May of '25.
A few months ago.
And to her credit, she discovered some of the issues that she brought to our attention that we wanted to test it and verify. So she wants to learn, she wants to get it right, she wants to do it well. And we're going to help her, and I know the police bureau is going to help her with all the assistance that she needs. So she's on the right track. And I say she, I don't think it should be just focused on the director. I think everybody has to get involved to get it on track. If it's on track, you probably could get by with one person as a director and a housing inspector and get it done. But it's hard. If you have issues, then that's when things start to deteriorate. And that's what we're seeing in 2024. So because of that, your ARPA funds were fine, but because of that Section 8 housing, we're qualifying with the opinion on the report. The third area I wanted to point out to you tonight is the independent auditor's report on internal control. Now, this is a different animal. We issue a report in the back where we made an assessment of all your processes, just like we did with the Section 8 program. And we only do that to figure out our audit plan, figure out how we're going to approach the testing and the things we need to do. We don't issue an opinion. We don't say your internal controls are working great or they're not working great. But what we're required to do when we make that assessment is to identify anything that comes to our attention, to management, and then to the police jury. So they all know what needs to be worked on, what's not working, and what's happening. Now, we're not going to identify everything under the sun. You might say, gee, I know about X, Y, Z, and the auditor didn't say anything about it. It's because we're not doing an internal control audit. We're just assessing it to make sure that we can rely on it. So in that regard, we ended up with 4 findings in internal controls. The first 3 are repeat findings from last year. And I call it, it's the nature of your operations. You had inadequate segregation of duties, which means you don't have enough people handling all the transactions. You hear me, I tell you that every year I come. Application of generally accepted accounting principles. You don't have the resources on staff to put that 100-plus page report together in accordance with the standards and the principles. We participate and we guide Ms. Jamie and her staff to do that. So that's a disclosure, it's a finding we have to put in the report so that somebody in Baton Rouge can understand, that's what's going on. And then reconciliation of significant accounts. That's another issue that we found from last year, continued this year. Again, you had a situation in your accounting department where you had some staff that was out, medical conditions, and things got behind. And it was tough to catch up. And I can attest from working in an accounting department before I was an auditor, once you start to fall behind, it's very difficult to catch up because it doesn't stop. It's a constant. Transactions are constantly being processed. So that issue was last year, we reported last year, and we're going to report it again this year. And then a new finding that we put in here this year talks about adherence to policies and procedures. This is in particular to a test that we did related to compensated absences, paid time off, sick leave, however you want to classify it. What we did is we just took a sample, took a snapshot, and we said, well, let's look at some balances, let's look at the process, let's see how it's working, and then we found some issues. Again, it's a snapshot. It's not all employee balances are wrong, people are getting paid too much money. It's not that. It's like, look at the process and see how it's working. It's kind of like tuning up your car. And so when we did that, we discovered this one. And so this is something, I know a lot of times people want to go in and just correct the problem they identified, but you got to look at your entire system to make sure that the system is fixed, that it's operating, just like your car engine. So that's a new finding. That's something new that we didn't have last year. On the compliance side, we had 3 compliance findings. One relates to your budgets, your general fund and your library fund overexpended by more than 5%. That's the rule on the state level. If you don't amend your budget by the end of the year and your expenses are 5% more than what you budgeted for, that's a compliance violation. You had the DEQ violation, which is a continuation from last year. And we had talked about that with the committee. Getting in a bind with the DEQ is probably just as bad as getting in a bind with the IRS. You're gonna be dealing with them for a long, long time. So that's continuing, so we have to disclose that fact in the report. And then the last item is that you had some hiccups in your bid process. Some equipment was purchased and didn't comply with state bid laws. So that's a compliance finding that we're issuing this year. I know it's not usually what we talk about when I come, but when you have issues, you have to address them head on and try to correct them and move forward. So that's all I have, hopefully, for tonight. Anybody have any questions? Anybody want to talk about anything? When you look in your packet, you're going to see there's some graphs of financial information, kind of give you some idea of where y'all been for the last 4 to 5 years, which is very positive. And then you also have a little more information on each one of the findings, kind of give you a little more background.
Any questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
All right. All right, moving on to the agenda. Item 10, we're gonna put that on hold. I'll let Representative Tell and Jamal work that out. All right, number 11, Mr. Thomas.
We have a resolution, Mr. Glenn Gudo passed away several days ago. I'd like to read the resolution, if that's okay. Whereas God has brought to close the life of Glenn Gudo. Whereas Glenn was born and raised on the bayou in Cottonport, settling in Marksville for the remainder of his life after marrying Priscilla Morgan in 1974. He graduated from LSU Baton Rouge in industrial technology in 1961 and served in the National Guard as a private first class. Glenn worked for his family's amusement company for 50 years before he opened Louisiana's first video poker machine company, which still operates today. He was a founding member of the Grand Lake Rod and Gun Club, Avoyelles Country Club, Avoyelles Education Foundation, Avoyelles Public Charter School, Avoyelles Early Childhood Development Center, and First T Avoyelles. In his 30s, he was diagnosed with dyslexia. Due to the lack of awareness and remaining undiagnosed, he struggled with reading and test taking his entire childhood and early adult life. Doctors were surprised he finished college. He spent most of his life investing in the betterment of children and their education. He believed that every child could learn, and if they weren't, there was a reason. Now, if it be resolved, members of the Avoyelles Parish Police Jury extend our sincere sympathy to the family of Mr. Glenn Gudo and wish to express our sympathy to the family during this time of bereavement, with acknowledgement of his service and dedication to the parish.
Okay. You make a motion to adopt this resolution. I second by Mr. Coco. Question and comments from the jurors. Question and comments from the audience. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 12, Mr. Thomas.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Mr. Jimmy Harmon to an additional 2 years on the Water District 1 Board of Directors.
All right, give me a second. Second by Mr. Burrell. Question or comments, jurors? Question or comments, audience? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, number 13, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the local hospital assessment order.
I'll move the motion.
All right, motion by Mr. Burrell, second by Mr. Franks. Question or comments from the jurors? Question or comments from the audience? All right, hearing none, let's put it to a vote. All in favor of the ordinance, the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank y'all very
Thank
much.
y'all very much, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Tommy, just take a look, Tommy.
Yeah.
Thank
It's
you
all
very
good.
much. We
It's all good.
appreciate
I got a
it.
2-hour drive and a 93-year-old
It
father
was
to
all
go
about
take
the
care
picture
of.
for me. I just needed a,
Thank y'all very much.
I'm glad somebody came in and became Picasso because I needed a real picture.
Absolutely. Thank y'all very much.
All right. All right, number 14, entertain a motion to approve Candy Williams Library Director salary to $50,000. Motion by, all right. Motion by Mr. Burrell, second by Mr. Wilson. Question or comments from jurors?
She's doing an outstanding job, Mr. President.
That might help us with that budget. All right. Question or comments from the audience? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Thomas, number 15.
I'd like to make a resolution calling for an election on November 15th to levy a 20 mil ad valorem tax in Road District 2.
All right, do I have a second? Second by Mr. Burrell. Question or comments from the jurors? Question or comments from the audience? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, I'm sorry.
Is this parish wide election?
No.
Or strictly district?
Road District 2.
Wasn't it 30 meals?
It was.
Was, we did, yeah. All right, and this is a new tax. Okay. All right. Hearing none, let's put it to vote. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
No one named. All right, I entertain a motion to declare the weekly news as the official journal of the parish. Motion by Mr. Morrell, second by Mr. Thomas. Question and comments from jurors. Question and comments from the audience. We kind of monopolized there. Okay, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 17, Jacob.
All right, make a motion to enter an IGA with the town of Simpsonport, exchange of the pipe patcher to use their pipe jetta, and also they will do some drainage work on Green Acres for us.
We gonna add that.
It's not in the packet, but I'll
Yeah.
add this in the.
All right, I have a motion. I'll get a second. Second by Mr. Wilson. Question or comments, jurors? Question, comments, audience? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 18, Mr. Coco.
All right, also make a motion to approve a culvert purchase from Road District 2 account and not to exceed $3,500.
All right, I have a motion. I'll get a second. Second by Mr. Thomas. Question or comments from the jurors? Question or comments from the audience? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 19, Mr. Benson.
That's the road and bridge off-road diesel fuel deal. It's in your package. Make the motion that it's,
All right, he's making a motion to accept it. It's in your packet. I'll get a second. Second by Mr. Wilson. Question, comments from jurors? All right,
Mr. Clyde, that bid that was out, is that for also the oils and
It's for.
DEF and stuff,
It's
it's
for
all of that?
yeah.
There's a copy of it in your packet.
Gotcha.
It's
It's for.
asphalt, a lot of
yeah,
different stuff.
coal
Coal
bits,
mix,
asphalt,
gravel,
gravel.
sand, pit run, limestone, different grades of limestone, that's all. Yeah, what I'm asking for.
Okay.
That's all.
Any other questions, jurors?
How much is, Kevin, how much is that increase over the years? Yeah.
When I started limestone, grade 57 limestone, we were paying $28 delivered. That was in 2017. Now you'll be paying $46.30. This is what we've been paying the last year and a half since last year. The other price is the same.
All right. Question, comments from audience? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Number 20, Mr. Coco.
I make a motion, we award a knuckle boom loader bid to Pac Mac at $188,390.
All right.
31 cents.
Second by Mr. Benson. Question or comments from the jurors? All right. Question or comments from the audience? Hearing none, all in favor of that motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Is this correct or should it be 14,000?
Where's that at? Oh, no, that's just one, because they didn't ask for the second.
Okay, just ask for one. Okay, I entertain a motion to allow Computers 911 estimate for upgrading the microphone system and for the judges. It's one room, $8,784. Motion by Mr. Burrell, second by Mr. Benson. Question or comments from jurors? Question or comments from the audience?
I was wondering if that should be subjected to bids.
We talked about that at the committee meeting, when we said,
But I don't think there was an answer. There was no time to do that because according to Judge Sproul, it was an emergency situation.
it's emergency,
He
so.
couldn't even operate in his courtroom.
And there's a $25,000 threshold, so you don't have to bid.
Not, will there be a bid on the second courtroom? Is there time? It's gonna be the same price. No, but I mean, could that, is that?
Could that be bid on?
Could that be bid on? The reason I was saying is there's a possibility that there may be some other services similar to that at which would be, you know, a lower cost given time maybe for the second courtroom.
Okay, so noted. Any other comments from the audience? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Number 22, Mr. Wilson.
Make a motion to approve hood inspector temporary full-time until audited compliance.
All right, second by Mr. Coco. Question and comments from jurors?
Did we speak to, we
Have we-
spoke to,
Mr. I think Mr. Allen spoke to him.
Yeah.
And he was,
oh, you did? Oh, okay.
And this will be an effort to help us get in compliance, the problem that we have. Okay. Question, comments from the audience? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Number 23, Mr. Franks.
Advertise a public hearing on Tuesday, August 12th at 4:45 PM to amend the blighted property ordinance, section 10-66, and that's to establish the fines.
Okay, I get a second? Second by Mr. Thomas. All right. Those were said at the last planning commission meeting, okay? Question or comments from the audience?
4:45 for a working person, it's hard to be getting here on time. When you have meeting at 4:40. So when you have meeting at 4:45.
We have to have, I know, I agree with you.
For working people who.
We have our meetings, we can't change our meetings, so they start at 5, so we gotta have it before the meeting. I mean, I understand. But, that's just standard procedure. Unless we move the meeting, and that would take a motion, we'd have to do all kind, I don't think we want to do there. But I do agree with you. It's tough. All right? Any other comments? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Number 24, Mr. Pierce.
Approve the RV park for Michelle Gunnels. You want to speak to it?
They need me too, they just had to come here.
Okay. Let's get a second before we let it. Our second by Mr. Thomas. Okay? Let's go through. Any comments from us? Questions? All right, go ahead, ma'am.
Yeah, you are supposed to request an exemption to not have to build your.
Oh, the bathhouse.
The bathhouse.
Yes, sir. Yeah. And, he wanted me to get the map, and I got the map, what they told me to get, but he said that I had to come here to see if I could put the 2 RVs on the lot without having to put a bathhouse.
Yeah, the planning commission looked at it and we're fine with it. We've offered this exemption to other people. That's all it is that she doesn't have to build a bathhouse for her 2 RVs.
Right.
Michelle, that's only just 2?
Yes, sir.
You okay with it, Chairman?
The planning commission is fine.
Any other comments from the audience? All right, hearing none, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 25, Mr. Pierce.
We have a plat for Sportsman Cove subdivision by Tim Lambert.
I guess.
again, has been before the planning commission and they're okay with it.
Can I get a second? Let me get a second for Mr. Frank's second. All right. Question, comments, yours? Where's it at exactly?
I can't tell you.
I remember the Johnson, was it Johnson Road?
I
Or?
think it's on the river.
Yeah, it's right off the Red River, but I can't tell you
That's
exactly
on
where it is.
JJ Lane.
JJ Lane, yeah.
Oh, that's, I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
it's pretty
Yeah,
bad.
that's
going on Barger Park.
I mean, it's a private road through there.
Yeah,
So that was-
JJ Lane it'll never be a parish road.
Okay. Question or comments from the audience? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 26, Mr. Wilson.
I make a motion to approve the Hood administrative plan, in the amount of $3,250.
All right, get a second, Mr. Burrell. Question or comments from jurors?
Mr. Short, is this plan going to be put in place permanently to keep in compliance yearly moving forward?
We hope so, yes.
Hope so, to keep this in place.
Right.
All right.
Thank you.
Question or comments from the audience? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 27, Mr. Thomas.
Approved lowest quote to replace the Ag Center HVAC to Dakota Electrical for $6,000.
All right, I get a second. Second by Mr. Coco. Question or comments from the audience? All right. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 28, Mr. Wilson.
Make a motion to approve the ACV utility allowance updated study, $2,350.
All right, I'll get a second. Second by Mr. Burrell. Question, comments, jurors? Question, comments, audience? There being none, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 29, Mr. Pierce.
Make a motion to appoint Corey Redmond to the Southwest Avoyelles Water District.
All right, I'll get a second. Second by Mr. Wilson. Questions, comments from jurors? Question and comments from the audience? There being none, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 30, I'll entertain a motion to cancel the October election for the home rule charter. Motion by Mr. Burrell. I get a second by Mr. Pierce. All right, question and comments from jurors?
And it will be held in April.
Yeah, they have to come present again, I guess, and go through the same procedure. All right. Question or comments from the audience? Yes, sir.
District 4 was a representative in the Home Rule Commission. And so it seemed like it's a problem where District 4, everybody else had a representative to be on the commission to draft the Home Rule charter. So District 4, we didn't have anyone.
You have one appointed.
Not from the district, that live in the district. That,
9 plus 2, we didn't make it 11.
One from each district.
It wasn't actually a true representative of the
yeah,
district.
we didn't have a true representative.
Oh, he was on the home charter. That's the,
Right. So it seemed like, y'all talking about getting ready to vote on a major parish wide, and we didn't have anyone to represent our district at the table. So I think y'all need to look at it very carefully.
If we cancel this election, we can get the word out that then you get the proper representation on there. I mean, they have replaced 2 or 3 of them, I know of.
Yeah, you
So-
have representatives.
So who's representing District 4
Ernest
now?
Anderson had somebody on the home rule charter.
Who's representing it now?
But it was Mr. Sampson, but then he wasn't actually in that
He was
district.
from District 7.
So really, it's
Ernest appointed Darrell.
unrepresented.
I'll replace Jesse Larson with Google.
But for that period of time.
So so let me understand your argument, saying it was written without representation from this.
Exactly.
Okay,
Exactly.
Mr. District Attorney.
Well, I mean, this is the first time that's been brought up. I would have to research it, but I would disagree that there was representation for the district. It's just the representative didn't live in the district, which was something we found out very recently. But I'd have to look into that and research that.
What are you asking for?
What I'm asking for.
I think if I'm understanding him right, he thinks it should, as a conflict of interest there, because with him being from a different district, that District 4 wasn't properly.
What I'm trying to explain is that when the police jury decide to put together a commission, each district should be represented by someone that live in that district to be at the planning process. And my content is that District 4 did not have someone who lived in the district to represent our concern. And I'm putting it on the table.
Nobody knew that at the time.
I'd have to dig into it. I mean, it was my understanding there was 11 members.
Correct.
And each of the 9 sitting jurors were allowed to, or required to appoint someone to correspond with that district. I don't know if there was a requirement that that person lived within that district. I'd have to look into it.
But that would be kind of funny if every district had someone that lived in the district to be part of the planning process, and then District 4 doesn't have anyone at the planning process. That don't look good. That don't look good at all.
I don't think anybody knew at the time.
Whether you know it or not.
Have the right to put someone on the district. Your jury member had put someone on the district. If he wasn't from the area,
I don't think that was ever a mandate, from what I remember. So I'm just trying to remember everything that was told of me. I don't know the whole laws.
Let's let him dig into
Yeah,
it.
because it doesn't,
I don't remember it being
that don't
mandated.
sound right.
I'll look into it.
That don't sound right. So that's my objection, but District 4.
I got you.
That's all. That's
Duly
all I'm
noted.
saying.
I understand you saying, and you're right.
Yeah.
But
That's all I'm
the
saying.
District 4 police jury member put somebody on there.
Yeah, but maybe you need to have to go back to the planning boards where you got District 4 at the table. That's all I'm saying.
I understand.
You understand? You
Yes, sir.
understand? You okay?
Hey, Jonathan, I guess my question would be during the, and I don't remember how many months it took them to completely write and vote on and all that, the whole little charter, and I understand his concern, but wouldn't have that been the proper venue, I guess I want to say, for that concern, along with a multitude of other questions and concerns that came up?
Well,
Wouldn't
maybe
it-
so if people knew about it. I mean,
He went through a whole election not knowing he was in the wrong district.
yeah.
He sat on the board.
That would have to be more of the charter's issue than so much as ours.
That's not our issue.
That would be their
But I guess
problem.
that's the direction I was
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
They have a process to go through, any concerns, and there were a multitude of concerns
It goes back
by
to
a
what
lot
I
of the
said.
public
We-
attending the meetings. I don't
We
remember that
fulfilled
concern
everything we
coming
were
up.
supposed to do.
And I understand the gentleman's concern. I just think at the time, I certainly didn't know about it. I don't know if anybody else knew about it. And I don't know if it was necessarily required
That they live in the
person
district.
appointed lived in that particular district. So that's gonna be the key.
I just second that too. Whenever they came and they brought it in front of the police jury that sits here today, the home rule charter, the people who, Glenn Gudo and such forth, could have appointed their own commission. I think that was a working thing to where they gave it back to the police jury to say each jury member appoint one person. That's all I ever was told. And now
in fact-
whether they fell into the district, that
In fact-
never was mandated to me, but I'm not saying it's right or wrong.
In one of the
That's what I
parishes where this occurred years before, the police jury actually appointed themselves
Correct.
as
We
the
had that
home rule
option.
charter.
We
That-
could-
And that could have been done.
That was an option, but we didn't take an option.
And that means that they would represent their people.
Correct.
So, if they had, if they did that before, they represented their district.
Correct.
Right now, 4 wasn't represented at all to the.
Well, it was represented, just not from
Not-
someone within that district. And I just have to check and see if that was a requirement.
All right, you'll take care of that. Okay, any more comments from the audience?
And he did attend all the meetings. I've been to all of them. The representative was supposed to be representing District 4. He attended all of them.
Yeah, it was a lawsuit that was settled,
Okay.
and didn't have to be from each district.
In a motion to cancel, being that, and I'm just asking for clarification, the original motion or the original election was set, I believe, at an April meeting by a motion. So this is basically a reversal of that motion or a cancellation of that?
Well, I mean, I don't know if you want to go by parliamentary procedure to rescind a motion or whatever, but I mean, we all understand.
Well, I was gonna make the motion to rescind, but I got beat to it.
Well, I mean.
Well, my point is,
I made the amendment.
Let me make this point, and the point is, we talking money. Our job is to try to help save this parish money, and that's what if we move this election, it would save this parish $66,300, okay? We didn't know all that when we said, we were told it was gonna be some amendments possibly on it. When we tagged on the end of it with the state, it's a little less. Am I advocating it? No, I'm not. I'm looking at it saving wise. I could care less one way or the other as a juror. Okay, but I mean, that's just, I want that out there in the public to understand that. Okay, it's not we think we're favoring one group over the other. Okay, yes, sir.
as of right now, I don't have an opinion one way or the other about when the election is held. But for transparency, what I'm saying is because there's a motion that was made, rather than just making a motion to cancel without really saying why.
I could have made them a motion to rescind.
I would like.
Well, okay, we're gonna follow parliamentary law, we'll make that motion, okay? But I mean, I'll make you sleep better, Mr. Jim, okay?
Just make a motion to rescind what we made in April, and then we'll make another motion.
Exactly, so I'll entertain a motion to rescind the motion.
So moved.
All right, by Mr. Pierce, do I get a second? Do I get a second? Mr. Franks? All right, questions or comments? Guys, we understand what we're doing here, all right? All in favor of that motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Now we're back. Before we make we made the motion already. All right, that's been made second, correct?
We rescinded the main motion, which was to have the election in October.
So now we're making a motion, but
This is just a canceling.
right, we made the motion to cancel it already, is what I'm saying,
When
okay?
do we come back to vote on April?
Right.
Right now.
No, I mean, we'll decide, they'll have to come back and ask us to put it on whatever date, just like they did this, okay? And now, I guess, that's another thing, Jonathan, you might can look into, all right? If they need to come back or not, if we just,
To request again?
because if we want to move it to April, we need to add that to the motion.
When is your deadline to make in April?
Now. Oh, no, in April.
If it's
Well,
April, is it like
in-
November, December or something?
Well, our timeline is gonna change, but we don't want.
We got time.
Adam's about to start printing
Well, that's
ballots.
This is my
So we
question
need to
too.
do it
Okay.
now.
Are y'all gonna make the contact with the state to cancel the election? Is the commission gonna who's gonna make the
The
cut?
jury has.
Why you hard?
We have to,
For informational purposes only.
we have to.
The jury has to do that tonight. That way he doesn't
Because
start
we have-
printing
the
ballots.
Myself and the clerk have received a call for the election from the state.
So if we're not gonna do it in
All right,
October,
we know what's before us, all right, we got legal advice tonight from the DA, he says he has no problem with it. So, all right, I'm gonna go ahead, and put it to a vote, all in favor of canceling? Go ahead,
We just had on the floor to rescind.
we did, it passed,
Yeah, but we never made a motion.
the motion was made, I mean, who made the motion?
I just
We
had
made
a
a
motion
motion
by
prior
Mr.
to rescinding.
So. but-
You want me to make it again?
That's kind
Make
of
you
like.
sleep better tonight too?
Well, the thing is,
Okay, that's all right. Who made the motion?
Mr. Sam?
Mr. Sam, you still make the motion to move to the election? I will. Who seconded it?
And I second it
All right,
again.
Mr. Frank seconded it. All in favor of that motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, got a nay. Got one nay.
No,
Mr. Vincent. Okay,
We didn't have a discussion.
we've been discussing all night.
But I didn't get a
And you know,
chance.
when all it started, they always said that we hope to be voted on 26.
Okay, yeah, well, I made that point earlier. We did what we were supposed to do as a police jury.
And I say, we had a motion, we had a second, we didn't have a discussion.
Okay,
And I wanted to just say why.
I'm gonna give you that,
No.
I'm gonna give you that chance right now.
And I read the law, and I'm going to what the law says. And that's why I'm going
Okay. And I also asked the DA if he could guarantee us that we was getting all city, he could. So, okay, all right? So now we need to vote on, all right, now I need to vote on the motion, to cancel the October election. Okay? That was the motion to put in. This is the actual vote, okay? All in favor of moving the election, signify by saying aye.
Hey,
All right, any opposed?
May,
I got one nay. Mr. Sean, you nay too?
No, no, I said.
He was just
Vincent,
telling
nay.
I'm
Okay,
just going with the flow.
all right,
Second, third, fourth.
okay.
Right, I'm just
All
going.
right, we got through it.
Whatever float the boat.
All right, number 31, Mr. Benson.
No.
His exit tone.
approve his exit proposal for telephone for the health unit. That's in the examiner's rooms. They want phones in the examiner's rooms. They had a bid of 1,300 or something, okay? But I want to make the motion that we allow at least $2,000 in case they have something that comes up.
So you want to add not to exceed $2,000?
Not to exceed $2,000.
Okay,
If we got a change order or something, we can still cover it.
How many phones is this for, Mr. Colley?
There are four phones.
Okay,
Yeah.
I guess they're buying the phones outright, I'm assuming.
Yeah. So this contract is gonna do the work on the phone.
all right. I got a motion, I got a second by Mr. Coco. All right. Question, comments from jurors? Question, comments from the audience? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 32, I entertain a motion to adopt a resolution to replace Norma Lemoyne with Jay Caligari as a member of the Children and Youth Service Board. Motion by Mr. Thomas. Give a second. Second by Mr. Pierce. All right. Question or comments? This is the committee that Judge Floyd talked to us about way back. All right, question or comments from the audience? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 33, entertaining a motion to adopt a resolution to appoint Sam Pierce and Ryan Quibido to the Children and Youth Service Board. Mr. Thomas, second by Mr. Coco. You go excuse yourself from the vote? Okay. Question or comments from the jurors? Question or comments from the audience? Hearing none, all in favor of that motion, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Mr. Pierce, recuse himself.
Mr. Sam Pierce is qualified.
Number 34, Mr. Benson.
Accept auction bid as presented is in your package. The surplus equipment sale of 7,225. Total amount that we received for this whole equipment was $86,755.68. I'll make a motion that we accept.
Okay, get a second.
The low bidders on this.
I get a second by Mr. Wilson.
Yeah,
Highest
that was
bid.
high.
I mean,
Highest bid.
I'm sorry, the highest bid. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was with Mr. Borlone when we opened the bid, so this is a plus, okay? Question, comments, guys? Question, comments from the audience? Just want to say that the guys that participated in the auction really liked the way we did it, so I think that was good too. All right? All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. 35, Mr. Thomas.
Authorize the sale of adjudicated property, parcel number 0171199-700, located on Acton Road to adjoining landowner, Mr. Michael Carmouche, for $4,500, as set by the, price set by the assessors.
All right, can I get a second? Second, all right, Mr. Benson.
Coach Waller, there's one thing, I looked at the assessment sheet on that, it looks like it was adjudicated 50% to the parish and 50% to the city of Walsall. So